Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into this album's 30th anniversary, and it's a classic album in metal. And I don't really need to go much into detail about this, but as you can see below the title, we're going to be talking about Vulgar Display of Power by Pantera, the band's sixth full-length album released on February 25th, 1992 through Acto Records. Now, I don't really need to say much about Pantera that hasn't been said already. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who they are. Classic band in metal, been around since the early to mid 80s, been from Texas. Um, yeah, and this, along with like Cowboy Boys from Hell, well, the previous song, Cowboys from Hell, and well, before even that, originally they kind of started off as like a glam metal band, but ever since after Cowboys from Hell, they kind of switched it up with more of a aggressive kind of metal sound. Um, and this, of course, follows up their previous album, which came out in 1990, Cowboys from Hell, and that was the start of really the Pantera that we all know is sort of like the more heavier kind of edge to them and more kind of like aggressive singing in there. But it wasn't with but with this, it's pretty much full on aggression, but they also has a lot of softer elements. And let's dive right into this. Production wise, produced by Terry Date. He's a really great name in metal that produces a lot of classic albums. And just the vocals from Phil Anselmo. He has like the two different ranges, which I love. The more of the kind of like aggressive, kind of like tough guy in your face kind of voice, and then when he does the melodic side, which showcases on two of the songs on here, This Love and of course Hollow, it really just showcases his clean vocals and not just show that he's not just full of aggression. Guitar wise, Dimebag Darrell, may he rest in peace. I don't think I don't think I really need to go much into his guitar playing, which of course, pretty much everything. I'm pretty sure he has said what I needed to say. Just legend, comes up with some sick riffs, just sick whammies, everything. The bass on this album is pretty audible. I think Rex Brown really stepped it up on the bass. And drumming wise, Vinnie Paul, may he also rest in peace, brother of Dimebag Darrell. Oh, but then on this album, he was then known as Diamond Darrell, but after that he switched to Dimebag, which we all know. Vinny does a great job on this album, just comes up with some sick drums. So without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now starting things off is Mouth for War. Now it just begins with Dime and Vinny. He's sort of like the drums and the guitars are like going dun, 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 dun. It has a really great build up and it just goes right into the sick riffing that just really catchy song, just makes you want to go hard in the pit. And then Phil just goes off with sort of like bomb with like revenge, which just makes you want to headbang. And I think it's a great opener. It just comes out of nowhere and just all the energy just dispenses it. Just a really gnarly riff that carries this song. Then we move on to A New Level, pretty much a simple riff that and Dimebag just really just showcases a great show of technical work, and it's just a very fast-paced song. And then we move on to the song that, well, needs no introduction for this album, Walk. Now, Walk, I don't think I really need to say much about this song that hasn't been said already. This is perhaps Pantera's, well, most famous, if not one of their most famous songs. And this song, at first, I think is kind of great, but over time, I feel like this is a bit overplayed. Like, this song, mostly throughout the song, just has a very simple, repetitive riff that repeats itself, that dun 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 dun, and very little variation, especially except for one part that dun 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 dun. But then just Phil just barking out like the lyrics like respect, walk, are you talking to me? I mean, it's just a very repetitive song. I mean, I can go out of nowhere, but it just, I don't know. Some people like it, some people think it's overrated. I definitely think it's the latter. So yeah, and Pantera fans, please don't comment saying you're wrong and all this shit. Anyway, moving on to the next song, which is Fucking Hostile. Now this song is just very aggressive and full of attitude. It's very, almost kind of has a bit of a punk vibe And the solo here is just very kick-ass, and it pretty much shows that the band still has the ability to be a very good band. And it's just really sick vocals, especially when Phil just screams "fucking hostile." God damn. And then we get into This Love, and I just love how it has like the subtle changes between calm passages and then the angry chorus is very predictable but effective, and the contrast just works really well, while the other tracks are only focused on the aggressive or kind of like the calmer side. And this kind of music has that kind of vision, which kind of would later go with like other bands like System of a Down, especially in that will go later on in the 90s. Then we move on to Rise, which now kind of similar to fucking Hostile. Now Rise is another fast and aggressive song here. It just goes just goes right in there, and the riffs are drumming are very fast and loud, and a really great, awesome solo in the halfway point of here. No Good, Attack for the Radical. Now it starts off with a decent riff, but soon as the vocals kick in, we have something that sounds like bad vocally with like that quasi-rapped scream nonsense, and the chorus is pretty alright. Next up is Live in a Hole. Now Live in a Hole has a nice guitar solo at the beginning, including some rather cool talk box effects, and there's like the presence of like Anselmo's vocals, and the groove pretty much really go well hand in hand. Regular People Conceit is up next. Now this pretty much laying the groove down and making it as delicious as possible to keep the listener engaged with an infectious rhythm and sledgehammer riffs and an overall atmosphere of like fierceness and rage, along with like Pantera's penchant for making the catchiest songs around their riffs and the chorus that gives us an album that lives up to its name. Next song on the album is called By Demons Be Driven. Now this song has a generic kind of sounding intro riff with the addition to an out-of-tune bend, and it has a good amount of groove on here, with the occasional changes in feel, which amount to nothing in here. And then we move on to the final song on the album, which is called Hollow. Now, Hollow is, in my opinion, is easily the most serious and mature song found on here, and it's funny, weirdly the last song on here. And the lyrical subject matter talks about being emotionally shattered, or basically an emotionally shattered and distant friend, and has an outstanding vocal performance from Phil on here. But what I can remember the most is how fierce the latter half of it sounds. It's unpleasant to the ear in its mostly strange, satisfying way, and the fade out in the end is what I could describe as kind of like very eerie, and it kind of sticks with me. Now overall, Vulgar Display of Power by Pantera, a classic album in metal, classic metal and album in the 1990s. So right to give this album a score, I'm going to give Vulgar Display of Power by Pantera a solid 8 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of the album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.